Hey everybody, welcome to Noon Flow. We'll get going in 3 or 4 minutes, grabbing a water bottle, grabbing whatever else is right and good for you this afternoon. And we'll see you real soon.
I'm ready.
All right, let me put this on airplane mode.
Is it yoga time?
It's yoga time. All right. Well, welcome everyone to Noontime Flow. Adjust the camera angle a little bit. I'm practicing today with Josephine, my daughter. So we can get going. Finding our feet, from our feet finding our legs. Relax shoulders tall through the crown of the head. I'll invite you to tuck the chin ever so slightly as we bring our hands to our heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as we line up each finger. And just starting our practice by redirecting our focus inward as we watch our breath flow in. And watching our breath flow out. Arriving here on our yoga mats, our yoga carpets, our yoga floors, our yoga ground, ready for a noontime yoga practice. From this place of just observing your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, bring the air to the top of the chest, the base of the belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. And as you breathe out, it'll encourage you to draw the little belly in and up towards the heart, to squeeze a little more air out, also providing structural support for our low back. As we move, stretch, breathe, and strengthen. Now taking the tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, trying to keep that connection throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and keeping us from grinding our teeth. And then finding the Ujjayi breath as we slightly constrict the base of the throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath, often compared to the sounds of the waves of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. Finally, adding a slight smile to your face with your lips closed, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, hands by our side. And we'll probably move a little slower this afternoon. It's a little hot here in San Francisco. We're not used to it.
Rats.
Rats. Warming up our shoulders, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhaling arms down. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. Adding a forward fold, half sun cell. Inhaling arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as we fold. Take a breath to find length as we lift chin and tail. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more time to go. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. So Namaskare with or without vinyasa. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then as you exhale, either finding your down dog and holding, or elbows soft as you find yoga push-up. Feel free to use those knees. Inhaling into up dog or cobra. And then exhaling back to down dog. And holding for 3 to 5 breaths. Another option might be a child's pose. You might find an all fours position. Always balancing your effort with your ease. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in and as your Ujjayi breath flows out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then on the exhale, either finding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa, yogi's choice. And vinyasa just means connective movement. There's lots of ways to do it. The traditional sequence in the Ashtanga with a small A practice is chaturanga, up dog, and then down dog. But you could always just find a plank, hold that for a breath or two. And there's other ways to connect movement. As we all know, following your body, following your breath. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more Surya Namaskara. I'll offer an option. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out. Back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Those of you in down dog, certainly feeling free to stay there. And if you're in any other shape, of course, feeling free to stay there. From down dog, if you did want to generate more heat, you could inhale forward to the top of a push-up. And then on the exhale, lifting hips high. A couple more times, inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. This last one, let's hold for 2 or 3 breaths. Inhaling forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath, breath in. And then breath out. back to down dog, and holding that for another breath or so. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of space between each finger. A little more emphasis between the thumb and the forefinger as we draw the energy up the inseams of the arms. Shoulders engaged, either letting your neck relax and your head be super, super heavy, or lengthening through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, smooth breath in. Smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, right in the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall.
I don't like doing it on carpet.
On the carpet, let's work with our wrists a little bit here. So let's just roll our wrists.
Like it's your forearms. Like I have to use my forearm muscles too much.
And then we'll roll those wrists the other way. And then back to center and down. Let's do one more warm-up exercise. We'll try to minimize the down dogs on the carpet, but I do want to do 2 Surya Namaskar Bs. And we probably we'll leave down dog in the dust after that, maybe repeat it once or twice. So we start with our chair, taking our chair lower, exhaling. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then on the exhale, back to down dog, as you will, if you choose. Yeah. From here, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the 3-legged dog. High on the left toes. From this place, looking between the hands, stepping that right foot on through, finding your warrior 1 pose, back leg long, back leg strong, arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, spinning the palms out, finding low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that left foot on through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, inhaling into warrior 1, and then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and then from low lunge, back to down dog or any other shape that your body's calling for. So feel free to find that child's pose.
It's like finding it, just like a lot of forearm strength so they don't slip.
So yeah, so great thing about a yoga mat is that they're called Sikhi mats for a reason, is that in order to stabilize the shape, you can push out. When you work on a carpet or a less sticky surface, in order to stabilize the shape, you have to pull in.
It's not the abs though, it's my forearms. Like that's the issue.
Yeah, well, in terms of how you define center, it's not always just the abs. It could be much bigger than the abs, and that could include the forearms. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, hands by our side, neutral spine. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar B, and we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more down dogs. But feel free to child's pose or all fours.
Right.
Finding our chair pose. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog, as you will. And a couple times, when I'm doing more of a workshop class, we'll actually do our down dog with slippery blankets under the hands and under the feet. And you really get that sense that you really have to hug in. It's crazy, crazy hard. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the 3-legged dog. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, I'll invite you to stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, warrior 1, arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as you stack that hip. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then sweeping that foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head. And on the exhale, back to down dog or any other shape your body's calling for. And one more suggestion. Really work the hands, and I can tell that you're actually working the hands.
I'm really working them.
Yeah.
It's the carpet.
Envisioning the center of your hand as a suction cup.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Drawing the energy up. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your palms as your weight gathers in your feet. Relax shoulders, a slight tuck of the chin as we redirect our attention inward. Just watching as our breath flows in and out. Now hands by our side. I'll invite you to either step or maybe you jump your feet hip width apart. From here on the inhale, let's bring the arms out to the side. On the exhale, we'll bend the knees and cross the arms in front. You might give those wrists a little bit of a flick. And then switching across. And we'll do 6. Couple more each way. One more each side. And then back to center. And hands by our side. Let's shift weight towards the right, and let's angle, see if I can get far back enough so you can fit. Angle the right toes out just a little bit to bring your hip to a more easeful place. So we're moving towards tree pose. So we can bring either kickstand tree, we park our heel on an ankle knob. You could always find a calf tree, or you might reach down. Whoops. Always nice to have a couch to ground on, or maybe finding your thigh tree. From thigh tree, we can either keep hands on hips, maybe hands find the heart. Maybe we stretch those hands high. If the pose feels wobbly, I'll invite you to wiggle your fingers. High hands can become hard hands. Hard hands can become hip hands. We can swing this left thigh front again, just to be a little more easeful in the hip, keeping a little bit of an angle there. As we release the thigh, toe points down, feel free to stay here, or leaning a little bit forward as we go long through that leg. Lifting that leg a little higher. And then we can sweep it on through. We'll come to Warrior One prep. We'll keep our hands on our hips. Let me go a little more diagonal here so you can see what I'm doing a little more clearly. Warrior One, we want to line up the heels. We want to keep the knee of the front foot over the heel and in line with the toes. We can bring hands onto our shoulders to square the heart front. We can find a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching those hands high to the sky with the breath gathering up the energy, inhaling. On the exhale, offering it out. And you might envision pulling silk threads. We'll do a few of these. Exhaling. And we don't want those threads to rip. Halfway done. Last 2. Last one. Now turning Warrior One into Warrior Two. As hands find the heart, we open up the hips. We might kick the back foot in just a little bit for heel to arch alignment. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling halfway done, breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out, finding your Warrior Two. And they say in every practice you should do a pose you absolutely love in a pose you absolutely hate. Moving towards our rainbow warrior. This is not one of Josephine's favorite
I've already
poses.
done one that I hate.
Which one?
Downward dog on a carpet.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So the double hate, anyway, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. Feel free to hang here. Stage 1. Stage 2, we add the forward fold. We could either use the thigh as a parking lot or let the torso hang free. Wherever you choose to work, just keep those shoulders moving up and back towards the hips. Looks like you've definitely got more space now, Josephine, on this shape.
I still hate it.
Still hate it. Try to keep the neck relaxed, the head heavy. I'll allow you to add a little swing, a little sway. Just releasing tension in the neck and shoulders. And letting that tension drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. So to come out, balance can be tricky, so really putting your mind in your feet. Before you come up though, let's get a nice stretch in the back of the neck as we strongly tuck the chin. Try to find that sternal notch. Keeping that strong tuck, as we bring it on up, we'll come back to our warrior 2. From here, transition to Trikonasana, the triangle. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We can deepen that crease, we can lengthen those ribs. Keeping a little spring in the knee as we ground bottom hand down in an appropriate place. We can set that top shoulder, we can stretch that hand high to the sky, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky, with that mixture of effort and ease. As we hold Trikonasana with every in-breath, I invite you to breathe into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every out-breath, sending energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, both the ends of the spine, as you make yourself bigger in space. Let me go diagonal for this next move here. In our triangle, exploring that lateral top line, I'll allow you to exhale that top hand front as we turn our heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. Yeah, super loose, super liquid, just let it flow. And we get a couple more to go. Exhale and inhale. Last one, let's hold as we push into that back foot. We stretch, stretch, stretch. And then bottom hand joins. We take that little twist out of the torso, pure side motion. We breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. Let those hands be loose. Let those hands be liquid. There you go. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2. Inhale. And exhale. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding. And I'll invite you to reach, reach, reach. Feel free to wiggle those fingers, keeping our hands supple. And then either back to Trikonasana. We're moving towards the half moon. Again, take your time on this. Anytime we move into a balanced pose, we're going to come there from a place of ease. We can take a big step in. We want to set our base. So right hand comes down, 2 feet stay on the floor here. So we're going to get low, low, low. We've got a hand and 2 feet down. Now we're shifting weight into hand and foot to lift back leg. We can set the shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. As we hold the half moon, again, finding your center of balance as you breathe in, as your diaphragm stretches down towards your navel. As you breathe out, as the diaphragm domes up to the heart, sending energy out in all 4 directions. Now the dismount on this one, again, there's no rush at all. We really want to set the foundation before we start to shift the weight. So, top hand finds the hip. We bend the standing leg, back foot low. Back foot finds the floor. We've got 2 feet down and 1 hand down. Now we shift the weight into the feet to come on up, finding our warrior 2. And then I'll suggest swimming yourself back to low lunge, back hand front, front hand back, as we spin back heel up for low lunge, and then back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa, skipping all that, and maybe you find something else. Maybe you find a child's pose,
okay.
all 4s.
It's good for me.
Try to let the neck relax, head heavy or long to all sides of the neck as you look back towards that center of balance. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'm going to invite you to bring hands to heart, either keeping that light press of your palms as your weight gathers in your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press those palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged. I'll invite you to tuck the tail and chin as we find strength in our center. And then hands by our side. So step or jump our feet hip width apart again. Another breath and exercise movement. On the inhale, we'll bring the arms up to one side. On the exhale, we'll bend the knees and pass the hands in front. Again, you might give those wrists a little bit of a flick. And then other side. Three more to go. Last two each way. Last one. And then back up. And hands by our side.
I like that one.
I love that one. I actually love both those exercises. So we're going to move towards tree second side. So we're going to, I like to angle the toes out a little bit. If the foot's facing perfectly front, feels like my hip's a little bit bound. When I turn the toes out, I feel a little more freedom in that hip. We shift weight onto the left side. We can either find our kickstand tree, we could find that calf tree, or using the hand, we could reach down to find a thigh tree. Hands could stay on the hips. Hip hands might become heart hands. Heart hands might become high hands. And if the pose feels wobbly, I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers. Something about the balancing poses. You're fully present. High hands become heart hands. Oops. Heart hands become hip hands. Now we're going to swing this thigh front. And I'll invite you again, keep a little bit of an angle here. Straightforward tends to bind at least my hip. We release. We can stay here. Toe faces down. Or leaning a little bit forward as we go along through the leg. Lifting that leg just a little higher. Then we can sweep that foot through as we find warrior one prep. We'll go a little more diagonal here so you get a better visual. Finding a length of stance that works for your legs. You want to feel sensation, but not so much sensation you're anxious to come out of the shape. We can bring hands onto our shoulders, squaring the shoulders front, also reminding those shoulders to stay easeful. From here, switching the clasp of the fingers, pressing the head into the hands, open heart and throat, fourth and fifth chakra, and then stretching those hands high to the sky. And then with the breath, breathing in, gathering up the energy, exhaling, offering it out. And let's do a few of these. Inhale and exhale. And again, you might consider lengthening silk threads, and we don't want to tear those threads. Just carefully pulling that thread out of the moss cocoon. One more to go here. Breathing in. Breathing out in, holding. I invite you to hold this shape. The elbows move back. The hands come with. Feel the stretch. Enjoy the stretch. From here, we turn one into two as hands find the heart. We open up the hips. You might kick the back foot in just a tad. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting rainbows. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Three more to go. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last two. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Breathing in. Breathing out. Warrior two. And then either that loved pose or hated pose, the Rainbow Warrior. I love the name anyway, right? How can you not like the Rainbow Warrior?
Good point.
Shoulder blades back and down under rib shelf. Stage one right here. Stage two, you find the forward fold. Stage 1.5, maybe using the thigh to part the torso. We're letting the torso hang free as we draw the hands up and over the head. Another great place is to keep that neck relaxed, that head super, super heavy. Adding a little swing, a little sway. Just starting to connect with the natural swing and sway of the universe. So coming up can be a little tricky. So really putting your mind and your feet, feeling that foundation. I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we stretch out the back of the neck. Keeping that tuck as we bring it on up, we'll come back to our Warrior Two shape. Warrior Two, we transition to triangle. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We painted the rainbows already, right? Excuse me. Deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs, and then parking that bottom hand down in an easeful place, keeping a little spring in the knee. We can set the top shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. Let me grab it. And even here on a carpet, you notice it's a lot different from a yoga mat. Even the footing is less sure. So again, rather than pushing out to stabilize, we need to draw in.
Yeah.
And this is a nice shape to draw in. With the inhales, you're finding your center of balance right there. With the outhales, the exhales, just sending the energy out. So I'm going to go this way, so you got visuals both ways. Exploring that lateral top line as we exhale that hand front, turning our heart to the floor, little quarter twist. Envisioning a palm tree here, so super loose, super liquid. Let all parts of the body move, yeah. That's it. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Halfway down. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Last one, we'll hold as we reach, reach, reach. You might wiggle those fingers, keeping everything supple. And then bottom hand joins. We take that quarter twist out. We breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Inhale it up. Exhale it over. We've got one more to go. Breathing it up. Exhale it over and hold as we reach, reach, reach. And then either back to Trikonasana or Trikonasana on one foot. Again, take your time. Set your base. We take a big step in. We've got 2 feet down. We put one hand down. Now we're going to shift the weight as we lift back foot. Now we're going to set the shoulder. Now we're going to stretch hand high, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky with that mixture of effort and ease. And another great place as you breathe in, finding your center of balance. And as you breathe out from that central place, connecting with the very edges of the universe. That might be a slight exaggeration.
What?
The edges of the universe.
Just slight.
Catching stars in your hands. So to come out, super careful, I'm just going to talk Josephine through and see if I can talk her through it. Hand finds the hip. We bend the standing leg, back foot low. Keep the hand down if you can. So you want to bend that knee even more if you can.
But it's down.
Yeah, okay. I just saw it lighten a little bit. Now you're going to shift the weight back into the feet, and now you're going to spiral up. There you go. And now you're going to swim those arms down as we stretch out our shoulders for a little lunge. And then either cycling through your vinyasa or skipping all that, finding down dog, maybe a child's pose again. Finding a shape that works for you. So I'm going to adjust the screen a little bit so we get more of a floor look here. And while we do that, I'll invite you to find a plank pose as we bring shoulders over wrists, wrists over shoulders. From the plank pose, a long, slow push-up all the way down. That could be using the knees. And you want your elbows to shave your ribs, so it's yoga push-up. Nice. When we get down, I'll suggest a cross of the forearms, forehead heavy on forearms as we find crocodile or Makrasana pose. Great place to connect with your breath. Your body has no choice but to rise and fall as you breathe. I always like to imagine myself on a surfboard here, and my breath is the wave as it passes underneath the surfboard. From here, let's move towards Sphinx pose as we bring our elbows under our shoulders, fingers wide, wide, wide. Hips are heavy. And then as we hold the Sphinx pose, see if you can still see me here. All right, good, good, good. From here, let's warm up our low back as we rock from hip point to hip point. Now adding a little dipping of the shoulders. When we rock to a hip, we dip a shoulder. When we rock to other hip, we dip other shoulder. Now adding a little swing of the head. and then back to center. Feeling free to hang here. Oh, we can set up for a forearm plank. As we tuck the toes, we lift the thighs off the floor, we draw the navel in and up, and then we connect the head, the hips and the heels. As we hold our forearm plank, keeping an easeful quality to our breath. Feeling free to come out at any time. Those of you still in forearm plank, I'll invite you to stretch out the fascia of your feet as you rock to the tips of the toes and then back to the base. Finding the tips and back to base. Finding tips and holding. Breath in, breath out, back to the base, holding, breath in, breath out. Now to dismount, landing the knees, landing the hips, pulling back with the hands to lengthen front heart, and then switching the cross of the forearms as we come back to Makrasana, the crocodile. Again, just connecting with your breath. Your body rises and falls as you breathe. From here, let's move towards grasshopper pose. As we've gone down through our chin, hands by our hips, the palms face up. From here, we'll start by lifting head and heart, pressing into the back of the hands to lift the legs. Now lifting the hands as we fly through the air, and then I'll invite you to rock the grasshopper. As you lower the toes, you lift the heart, and then lowering the heart, lifting the toes. Now I'll let you move your body, your breath. We can inhale up and exhale down. And you just go, Josephine. You want to envision your whole body as one unit, so it's like you're a rocker on a rocking chair. Nice. Let's do a couple more. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, coming down. Now coming back to a neutral place, neither lifted nor lowered. And just getting a little longer through the arms, the legs, the neck. And then on an exhale, coming all the way down, turning your head to one side. And just being super, super heavy on the floor. Now turning your head the other way. Notice how your neck feels on this side. Most of us have a preferred side. Most of us don't go there first. So on this less preferred side, despite it being less preferred, still trying to find some ease, some heaviness as we relax and release. So let's do a very similar pose. If arms in extension for the super person isn't for you, you can certainly feel free to repeat the grasshopper, or feeling free just to hang out wherever you are. You might come back to that Makrasana, a little more of a symmetrical shape than this one. From here, grounding down through the chin, two long arms in front. We'll start by lifting head and heart, pressing into the hands to lift the legs. Now lifting the hands as we fly through the air. You might look down just a little bit, a little less stress in the neck. And then again, rocking the super person if you chose, lowering the toes, lifting the hands, lowering hands, lifting toes. And again, I'll let you go, just breathing in and breathing out, finding your natural rhythm. Nice massage also for our internal organs here. They like a massage just as much as our shoulders, in the right amount. And another couple times, lifting up, lowering down, lifting up, lowering down, and then coming back to a neutral place, neither lifted or lower, longer through those arms, longer through the legs, longer through the neck. And then sweeping hands by your hips as you turn your head to that less preferred side first. And despite it being a little less easeful, still trying to find a quality of ease on this less comfortable side. And then turning your head to that more comfortable side. And just letting the out breath make you heavier than as we lay. Rest, relax, and release. From here, let's find a rocking horse push-up as we ground down through the chin, hands under shoulders. The knees stay down, toes are tucked. Chin stays down. We're going to lift the hips up for the inchworm. We want to keep the hips lifting the whole time. We don't want to sag the low back as we rocking horse push-up up. That's it. And then stretching it back to a child's pose. Sits bones back to the heels. Any amount. And give your knees the right amount of compression. Some of us are working with knee issues. So your child's pose might have the hips pretty high up. Whatever child's pose you found, keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to walk your hands to one side as you stretch far hip to far heel. Now walking hands through center and finding your second side. Stretching other hip to other hip. Now walking hands center, let's find an all fours position on our surface here. Let me go a little more diagonal so you get a different perspective. You stay just as you are. And let's work the cat dog stretch here. Starting with neutral spine, back ahead in line with sacrum, and then arcing the back as we lift chin and tail, unfurling the feet, and then tucking the toes, tucking the tail, tucking the chin as we round it in. Couple more times. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Inhaling, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Let's throw child's pose into the mix. Breathing in, lifting it up. And then big toes touch, sits bones back to the heels, any amount as we round the spine. Giving you the right amount of compression. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it back. One more time. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it back. Inhaling, lifting it up. We're going to add a diagonal as we draw it back to one heel. Inhaling, lifting it up. Finding that other diagonal as we take it back to other heel. A couple more times each way. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. One more time each side. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Now we're going to throw a figure eight into the mix. Breathing in, coming up center, drawing it back to one heel. Finding the other heel up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips, and back to first heel. Two more times, breathing in and breathing out. Last one this direction, breathing in and breathing out. Now we'll find the other figure eight up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips, and back to second heel. Finding first heel up on that other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips, and back to second heel. One more time like this, breathing in and breathing out, and then back to an all fours position, feet hip width apart. I'll invite you to walk the hands just a little bit front and get into our down dog shape with the cat dog stretch. Breathing in, lifting chin and tail, and then tucking toes, tucking tail, tucking chin, tailbone, high, 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 and then finding neutral spine as you stretch those heels down. As we hold this shape, I'll invite you to walk the dog as we bend one leg deeply, grounding down to the opposite heel, and then finding that stretch on the second side. And then freely moving back and forth between the sides, just stretching it out, and either keep walking the dog or yogi's choice. Maybe you cycle through vinyasa, whatever that means for you. Just means connected movement. From the down dog shape, I'll invite you again to find a child's pose as we ground the knees on down, arms in extension, and just resting and relaxing for a couple of. From here, let's walk our hands in and bring our feet off to one side, two long legs in front, and give yourselves lots of room on the floor. We're going to do a full body stretch, so make sure you got some room behind you. Make sure we're both still in the frame here. So let's do 6 roll downs and roll ups, one of my favorite abdominal exercises. Not only do we find strength in our center, we also find more length in our spine. We can start from tall spine or neutral spine, back of the head, in line with the sacrum. From here, I'm going to come out of the frame. I want to make sure I got enough room for my full body stretch. I'm going to find C-spine as we tuck tail and chin. We slowly roll ourselves down, staying grounded through the heels. On the inhale, full body stretch, arms by the ears, but not too low. We want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in, pointing fingers and toes, inhaling. On the exhale, flexing hands and feet as we slowly roll ourselves up. On the inhale, staying in C-spine, pointing fingers and toes as you reach, reach, reach. We want to feel shoulders moving away from ears, ribs moving away from the feet. Staying in C-spine as we exhale it down. Inhaling, full body stretch. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhaling, reach, reach, reach. Exhaling, rolling it down. Now, if this is tough, you could always add the thighs for the assist. Inhaling, full body stretch. Exhaling, rolling it up. And again, feel free to grab those thighs. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. We're halfway done. Exhaling down. Inhaling, reach. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. 2 more to go here. Exhaling, rolling it down. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Last one here. Exhaling, rolling it down. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. And then I'll invite you just to drape yourself over those legs, relax shoulders, soft face, as we take 2 or 3 long, slow breaths into back heart. So let's work another breath and body exercise. We'll only do 3 as we move between this shape and a tabletop. So we can tuck the chin, hands can trace the legs as we come on up. We can bring our hands behind our hips as we walk our feet in, exhaling. On the inhale, we lift our hips up. On the exhale, we're going to try to land the hips right between the hands. On your next inhale, long through 2 legs, arms high to the sky. On the exhale, leading with the heart as we fold. Inhaling, hands trace the legs as we roll ourselves up. Exhaling, setting our base as we walk the feet in. Inhaling, lifting on up. Exhaling, getting the hips right between the hands. Inhaling, arms high to the sky. Exhaling, folding. Last one here, we're going to hold. Inhaling, hands trace the legs. Exhaling, setting the base. Inhale, lifting on up. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold, hips lift higher. And then on that next exhale, getting the hips right between the hands. Inhaling, arms high to the sky. On the exhale, finding the forward fold. And holding that for a couple of breaths. Relax shoulders. Just really breathing into back heart. From here, let's come down onto our backs. We'll do one more roll down here. So we've got tall spine. We find C-spine. We slowly roll ourselves down. Inhaling, full body stretch. And on the exhale, let's sweep hands to a T. I don't think we'll collide. As we walk our feet in, we're both in the frame. Easy supine twist. Our knees fall one way as we look off the other. Hanging out here for 2 or 3 long, slow breaths. With every exhale breath, just letting yourself get a little heavier, a little more settled on the floor. Now, invite you on the tail end of an exhalation with that low belly engagement to bring everything back center, taking a big breath into your low back. And on that next exhale breath, finding your easy supine twist the other way. Again, just hanging out, letting those exhale breaths release and relax tension into the earth. Tail end of an exhalation coming back center. Let's do one more shape before our final relaxation shape, floating on a cloud pose. As we bring 2 knees into our armpits, soles of the feet face the sky, we reach up and either catch our ankles. If you have a bit more to go, catching the outside edges of the feet. And then using the weight of the hands and the arms to heavy those knees on down. I'll invite you to gently rock your baby side to side, massaging your kidneys, stretching out your low back, getting into those hips. And then bringing your baby back center. Coming back to a focus on your breath, watching as it flows in and out. From this place, long through the legs, arms out to the side, give all parts of your body lots of permission to breathe, scooting the head back as you flatten the shoulders. doing whatever else feels right and good for you this afternoon. Tip of the tongue now neutral in the mouth. A slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. And we'll be here a couple of minutes. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I invite you to hear the striking of the tone, the duration of its sound, its subsequent diminution, and then the ambient silence thereafter. I'll invite you to move your minds before you move your bodies. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and watching as it flows out. Do this watching of your breath. I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by an even longer, slower exhalation. So we're varying the ratio between the inhale and the exhale in pursuit of a more relaxing breath. So long, smooth breaths in. Longer, smoother, slower breaths out. To this more relaxing breath, inviting more prana, more life force into your body as you gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And now inviting that prana, that life force in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. I'll invite you to add a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you as we connect with our feeling bodies, whatever feels right and good. And now moving towards Apanasana, we draw one knee at a time in towards our heart as our hands catch our shins. And then using our thighs to massage our low belly as we gently lift and lower our low back and hips. Keeping the knees close in, I'll invite you to gently rock it from side to side. And then the next time you rock to the right, I'll invite you to go long through the right arm, stretching long through that arm, letting it serve as a cushion for your head. I invite you to take a long, slow breath here on the floor, letting that breath sigh out through your mouth, relaxing your shoulders, softening your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. And then neck relaxed, face soft as we press into our hands to come up and claim a cross-legged sit. As we sit, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. Without losing a speck of space in the neck, a slight tuck of the chin. As 5 fingers of one hand find the ground, the palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath observation, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga and as we offer our practice out to each other and out to the world. The light within me honors and respects the light within you, and in that we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
I invite you all, thank you all of you at home, for practicing with us. And I thank Josephine for practicing with me here.
Thanks, Beth. Sorry for being negative. Just some poses suck.
Yeah, negativity is a big part of the human experience. And if we try to deny that negativity, it's like toxic waste. So you want to connect with the full spectrum of who you are. So, and that's okay. We'll see you all next time. We've got some live classes here in San Francisco. If you're able to come to the Bay Club, I'd love to see you in person. And if not, I'll see you again online. Namaste. Have a nice day. Have a great weekend.